Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Earth and Sky as we prepare to turn the wheel of the year today to Yule, one of my favorite holidays. It's a hard choice sometimes between Samhain and Yule. They both have a beautiful blessings and an amazing energy that comes with them and just a lot of beauty. This time of year to me is the most beautiful time of year as we start to go inward and we are surrounded by snow pretty soon, maybe in a month. I know some of you are probably saying don't say that, but this is a time of year that helps us to go quieter inside. And just as the snow teaches us with its soft hush in the evening, that sometimes we can quiet down our world, we can quiet down our mind and look within and see what gifts we have within and what we want to manifest within. And at this time of year, as we're at Yule, we're starting to figure out what do we want to let go of from the last year. I don't know, can any of you think of anything you want to let go of from 2020? It might not be a stretch this year. And this is a time to reflect not only on what you want to let go of, but also on what things you did appreciate. Where did you find small joys or things that you might want to remember from this last year that we've had? Yule, or sometimes it's also called Yuletide, is celebrated for 12 days. It starts at the winter solstice, which this year is December 21st. And during the 12 days of Yule, traditionally, crops are harvested to make meals. Trees are decorated with pine cones and foliage, and candles are often traditionally exchanged with loved ones. When you give someone a candle at this time of year, it's a symbol to them that they can always find light in the dark, that you can always, even in the darkest hour, on the winter solstice, the sun is at its smallest amount of light. You can use a candle to light the way through the night and to inspire ideas and to inspire joy within. Because just as we've been going from the fall equinox to Yule, every single day the sun is losing a little more light and a little less light and a little less light until we come to the darkest night of the year, which is Yule. But sparking that light within is the way to recognize that we have the power within ourselves to create what we want within our lives. And that even if it seems like the light isn't there, the power of the light is always within you and within your grasp. Just make sure you have a candle and a lighter as we come to this night of Yule. You can always really reach in. Truly, that light is within ourselves. It's within our hearts. Traditionally, gifts are often exchanged with loved ones at this time of year as we prepare for the winter. Often, if you reflect back on times of old, it still applies some, but especially in olden times, that the winters would be more harsh. It would be a little harder if we didn't have grocery stores on every corner. It becomes very hard to figure out how you're going to have enough food to sustain yourself for the winter. And the holiday of Yule really helps us to set the tone for that and to think about that and to prepare. And it teaches us to go within and to prepare within ourselves what we want for the rest of the year. Because as we come out of Yule and we start heading into the spring, before you know it, it will be spring again. Just after we cross Yule, the darkest and longest night of the year, the light of the sun begins to return. And the days become longer and the nights become shorter. And before you know it, we'll be at the equinox again of the spring equinox. But what this really is teaching us within ourselves is that the light is always in this perpetual journey. It is a lesson about life and death and rebirth. It's a lesson about seeing and acknowledging that journey of the sun that rotates every year, just as we have our own birthdays. In a way, it's like a birthday of the sun. This is the time where you're celebrating and recognizing where the goddess once again becomes the great mother and gives birth to a new sun king. Because it's a celebration of light, it's a day of lighting candles, using bonfires, and celebrating with solar symbols all around. This is really a good time to reflect on the loved ones that you may have lost in the past as well. We do a lot of that at Samhain, where we recognize our ancestors, but it's very nice to do that at Yule as well, remembering the celebrations that we've had with people that we loved that are no longer with us. perhaps setting an altar up for one of the family altar for those that you've loved, whether they're friends or family, or you might even choose to have an altar honoring the Native American tribes that are on the land where you live. You can get very creative with honoring those that have gone on before, which helps us to recognize and honor that cycle of life and death and rebirth. And not being afraid of it, but seeing that we can spark light in this life. And we see that spark of life within the afterlife as well. Reflecting on the past year and thinking about your gratitude. Because when you focus on your gratitude, it helps you to bring that light of gratitude into the next year. This is also a time where we're making decisions about what we want in the next year too. I think more than any other year, I see more and more people that are really ready to let go of 2020 and usher in 2021, knowing that every year brings its own challenges and every year also brings its own gift. But this is that time of year where we start reflecting on those different decisions. Because we're in a year of COVID currently, and our holidays are all looking quite a bit different because we don't have everyone gathered as we used to have everyone gathered, and celebrations will or should look a lot smaller than they normally would this year. I wanted to give you a few suggestions for ways you can celebrate Yule on your own during the wonderful 12 nights of Yule. And one of the things I also wanted to mention too is that a lot of what I've been thinking about, I often do a lot of reflecting myself this time of year, as I always talk about during the life talks around Yule. And one of the things I've been thinking a lot about this year is how similar some of the aspects of Hanukkah are to Yule, because both of those holidays are really about bringing in the light, inspiring, and bringing in, recognizing the light that is already there, even when you sometimes don't see it. A lot of people don't like the gray skies and the dark days of winter, but the light of Hanukkah and the light of Yule awaken us and inspire us to see that we have that power within ourselves to create that light and to spark that within ourselves. Lighting those candles, whether it's for the 12 days of Yule or the 8 days of Hanukkah, are really symbolic of lighting and celebrating that life within yourself. Really taking the time to recognize, as they teach with Hanukkah, to see the miraculous of the everyday within your life and to really celebrate with awe and wonder the simple things that sometimes we overlook, whether it's the seeing your loved one's face and just being in awe of, and smiling at how much love you feel for that person, or watching the sunrise and thinking in awe at how incredibly amazing it is that the sun rises every single day and sets every single night, and feeling inspired with tremendous awe that you wake up to live another day. That's the type of awe and wonder that this time of year really teaches us to have. It's a type of awe and wonder that we couldn't sustain on a day-to-day basis, but it's a type that we can have during these nights of the year and can really light us up and inspire us so that we're ready and we feel fueled for the time of planning that we're entering into through the months of winter. So some of the ways that you may want to celebrate at home alone or with a very small group within your family or your close friends are some of the things that many solitary practitioners do all the time when they're at home for celebrating Yule. One of the great and beautiful things would be to turn off all of the lights in your house and really think about reflecting on the return of the sun and what that means to you. Really staying in the moment of silence and reflecting on how it feels to be alone within yourself and to feel that quiet and to think about the return of the sun and the letting go of what you want to let go of and the return of the sun coming back. And then light several candles throughout your place and notice the beautiful glow that the candlelight brings, and allow yourself to feel joy within your heart as that candlelight warms you and it makes you smile. At this time of year, and at every time that we turn the wheel, we really honor those who have lived before us. So as I mentioned earlier, maybe doing an altar to the Native Americans that lived in the area where you now reside. You can put out gourds or squash or beans, tobacco, corn, cornmeal, coffee, maybe get really creative and do as they traditionally did and make dolls from corn husks for the spirits of the land to enjoy. It is always great to honor those who have walked before us, because even if we don't know them, and even if it was many generations before us, their lives have shaped who we are. And because of them, we are here today and who we are today. This is a great time. Another way to celebrate would be to spruce up your personal altar, decorating it with greenery and herbs of the season. The northeastern winter season can bring a lot of pine cones and hazelnuts and cranberries and, of course, mistletoe. If you have cats, make sure you don't have mistletoe or poinsettias near where your cats are. They are toxic to cats, but they can be beautiful to decorate if you have them safely up high, or if you don't have cats, then you can have them safely decorated wherever your altars are. If you don't have an altar, think about your fireplace mantle for these things. These are things that now traditionally have become traditional with Christmas time as well. Another way that you can use this is really figuring out where you can put candles through your whole life, throughout your whole home. It's a great way to brighten the winter months and really feel that joy when the days and the nights are dark and the nights get darker and the days still feel gray. Candlelight can spark that warmth and joy within your heart. Last year I had hosted a ritual for several people at Earth and Sky where we would walk into a labyrinth, and this is something that you can do at home. It doesn't have to be with a group of people, but you can place out on your floor a ribbon so that you can follow a spiral, or just see the spiral within your mind and follow a spiral into the room while holding a candle that is not lit. As you're following that spiral in, think about what you want to let go of, what you want to release from the past year. And then as you get into the center where you have an altar placed, go ahead and light that candle. And as you light the candle in the center of that labyrinth, think about what you are grateful for. Think about what you love to have in your life and what holds meaning to you. And then as you walk out of that labyrinth or that spiral back out to the outer part of the room, think about what you're wanting to bring into your life while your candle is lit. It's a great way to say goodbye to the last year, to think about what brings you joy, to spark that joy as you light the candle, and then to walk out carrying that intention and that gratitude and the blessings as you bring that into the next part of your year. A Yule log is a wonderful way to celebrate. Very traditional with Yuletide, having a hearth fire or a Yule log. Handmade crafts can be a great way to celebrate. You can do that while you're home alone, and then do porch drop-offs for loved ones. That is a safe way. Maybe spray it down with some sanitizer so that you are making sure everything is really good for everyone that you're giving it to as we're navigating these interesting times of COVID. But handmade crafts are a wonderful way to pour your intention in. Often whenever I do any kind of baking or cooking, I'm always putting magical intent in and thinking of the magical properties of the ingredients that I'm cooking with. And you can do that with crafts too. You can think about what intention you want to put into it and send it out with so much love and send it out with so much healing energy and vibration to those that you love. This is a time for really going within. It's a time to celebrate the journey of the sun and knowing that the sun will emerge again, knowing that even if the days do feel really long right now and it feels like the skies are always gray, that sun is coming back around again. It is emerging. We'll be celebrating the equal balance again of the sun and the moon once we come over here and as we keep turning the wheel of the year. But as we are into the next 3 months of cycles, it is really important to go within to honor that journey of planning and really very consciously deciding what you want for your life, what you want your intent to be, and know that you can spark that light, you can spark that joy within your heart and within your life, and candles can provide a great visual for that. So I hope that gives you some ideas of ways to still celebrate and to be able to enjoy Yule as we are navigating this end of the crazy year of 2020. Have a great week, everyone. Thank you.